Meow, 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 meow.
The beach.
I just realized that, yeah, didn't put in a waiting page or anything. We just fucking went live.
All right.
Oh no, there was a waiting page, I think.
Oh no, but not like
I was here the whole time. So we've just discovered fake backgrounds. Welcome to today's show. I have a picture going through my face, which is kind of cool. Oh yeah. Okay, what's up? I'm Dom Tomato. In the center we have Jarran Zen.
I'm not in the center. I'm next to you. Sean's in the center. Yes.
All right. Well, whoever, Jarran Zen.
Hello, I'm Jarran Zen. I make the musics.
And today's guest is Shaun Wood.
Sean doesn't have a background. Maybe we should turn our backgrounds off now.
Yeah, I'm turning mine off too.
Hey, I'm Shaun Wood.
What do you do?
And I do jumps and things. Jumps and things. Are we live? Is this
this is how rough and raw we do it.
Dude, turn your background off. It was hard.
I can't turn my background off now. Oh my god.
It was so hard getting you to turn your background on. Now you can't turn it off.
Yeah, it's impossible. That's what I've decided.
No, it's not. Just go back in there.
No, I'm pressing control comma. No, command
comma.
And it's just making a badunk sound.
Right, quality content. Quality content.
From the get-go, from the start.
Production quality. Production quality.
Okay, so we've got this week, we don't have a subject. We're just going to talk to Shaun. He is our guest, and he is a good conversationalist. I originally met Shaun with Sydney Parkour community, but I'd seen him in heaps of videos first, and he was kind of like the first free runner in Sydney, as opposed to all the people who were old school parkour. He was like the guy doing front flips and stuff and having sick bails, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that stuff instead of just jumping. I was
Sydney's first scumbag, but you definitely took that to the next level.
And so what we do, Shaun, is we start the show with the last 24 hours of our life. So I'll get you to begin.
Okay.
All right. While Shaun does that, Dom, can you take the goddamn
I'm trying.
While he does it, take the goddamn background off. You have the craziest monobrow right now. It's going so good.
All right. So last 24 hours. Okay. For the very small, maybe 2 people that may subscribe to my YouTube channel, I finished up a challenge about a month ago or 3 weeks ago where I was making 20 pieces of content in 20 days. Or no, it was 30 pieces of content, 30 days, ended up with 22. And that was on YouTube. And through that, I got a bunch of fucking work. So if anyone's seen me not uploading as much, it's because I got really busy. And one of the gigs that I'm doing is for a yoga studio. I'm shooting a bunch of content for them. So my last 24 hours has just been business meetings, trying to execute as much content as possible because I always go full in, and I've offered this company 30 pieces of content in 30 days. So now I'm back on the challenge again, but I'm getting paid for it this time. And then just getting my health in check, man. I went away with you, 2 weekends ago now, and I came away, trying to keep up with the man Dom leaves me with a couple of injuries. So I bruised my heel while I was away with you. So I've been just doing the everyday. I've been hitting the infrared sauna 3 days a week, and I'm back to strength training in the wake of, this upcoming ultimate tag that looks like it's being released here in Australia. I want to be in prime form for that. With auditions and all that sort of stuff are coming up. So I'm back to strength training, mobility training, and getting this ankle as solid as possible. So just rehab, full rehab, last 24 hours, sauna, rehab, strength, and work.
And work.
That's me.
Can you explain to me? All right, so this tag, it's not quite like World Chase Tag, is it? Is this more like the American thing where they're all dressed up in glitter and lycra?
Yeah, fuck yeah. As if like
I'm gonna wear fur.
Yeah, I'm all for glitter and lycra. So yeah, it's the dramatized American version of chase tag with all the bells and whistles, all the outfits, all the characters, and it looks pretty freaking incredible. And it's coming to Australia, so
So yeah,
exciting
hopefully we
times.
can get a whole bunch of the parkour community and ourselves even involved in it, and then be on TV running around catching people using parkour. I mean, the coolest thing about
Did you
it, I
see
think.
the?
Yeah, you go. There you go.
Yeah, did you see the press release? They released the press release yesterday. It's going to be Channel 7. And in the excerpt, it literally says like pro taggers who are mischievous parkour and free runners. Like this is like they've literally built the show. It looks like they're going to be casting mainly parkour people, which is really exciting for the Sydney community, I think, because with the Australian community, there's some beasts, and it could be, for some reason, there's a certain demographic of people that still appreciate mainstream television. So it could be a good opportunity for a couple of parkour athletes from Australia to sort of make that mainstream entrance.
Yeah, for sure. And I also like the idea that it's parkour athletes against, not necessarily people who have trained parkour or jumping over obstacles or anything. So when like you see the American version, you see like Tavon trouncing on these people, like striding over these walls while everyone else zigzags around them. There's like a huge difference, and that's so enjoyable to watch as someone who practices. You're like, yeah, I see that strategy. Yeah, I see how he couldn't do that jump because of the like lack of training, and therefore like was inhibiting in his skill level. And that sort of thing is just fun to watch. So it's not just like parkour people. You also get like your everyday folk who are good at tag just in there.
When it came out in the UK, in the US, I actually tweeted at the World Chase Tag guys and was like, I'm not sure how to feel about this. Do I feel bad, or do I feel happy for my friends that are on it, or feel bad for my friends from World Chase Tag? And they wrote back and they were like, hey man, we're all winning and don't feel sad. Like, this is a good thing for everyone. We've still got our own thing going on. And they were sort of saying like, this is a cool result for the thing. So that's why I feel
that's
like
actually really sick to hear, because I haven't heard that side. I haven't heard anything from anyone from that party of things, and that's really awesome that they've got that, what I would call the parkour mindset of like total community support. Like, it offers opportunity for parkour people, boom, we love it, you know what I mean? Which is the main drive, I guess, for me personally.
Yeah, instead of
who's
any
next?
pushback.
What have you been up to last 24 hours? Who's next?
Me, I'll go next. I've done nothing. I literally just cleaned my house. Yeah, what? It was sick.
No. You did a thing with a mattress.
I made a koala. I made a post that you can see on my Instagram story now, feed now, for koala mattresses, who were kind enough to give us a mattress in trade for some content. So
yeah,
now I have a brand new mattress. Thank you. I had the concept in my mind, but I've been procrastinating on just like moving the mattress to do it. Really, that was like the main. I really had to get it out, so I'm really glad it came together nicely. Glad you liked it. And then I was meant to edit, but I just didn't. Sleepy.
Do you mean Dom took a day off?
Yeah, man. You know why? Because I'm doing this. I can't say too much, but I'm doing this endurance training for a job this week, and it just is destroying me. I'm just not used to it. It just takes me out for like the rest of the day, and then I'm like exhausted as opposed to like sore per se. Like my body's just like.
Yeah, you get that deep tired where you're just like, I don't want to do anything. Screw this.
I did a session on Sunday morning, and now I'm just finished getting over it now. But yeah, it was easy to take the day off because it was raining all day, so I didn't have to what if I was out there, blah blah blah. I was like, look outside, it's piss pouring down here in Sydney. So that always helps me, because I'm like, if I do want to train, I have to go to the gym, and I'm not that big on training at gyms. If I can avoid it, so it's like day off or gym training, and then I'll just take the day off if I can.
Wow, you actually take the day off instead?
It's okay to rest, man. It's okay to rest.
No. That's a lie. Wait, what else in the last 24 hours? One Piece. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jaron, you're up.
What? You just
you're up.
watched a bunch of One Piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. What did I do? I got over the fact that yesterday was like my fasting day and went and did some yoga. Fucking, that is killing me. I'm like, what, 2 weeks into that? And it's just like, it never gets easy. It never gets easy. You're just there in like panic mode. But apart from that, I bought an electric cello today because I've been basically my guy in Canada. Shout out to my guy in Canada. He wants me to do a full cello line on a progressive metal album. So I'm like, all right, well, I should probably get an actual cello then. Interesting things. Metal cello.
How hard is it for you to pick up a new instrument like the cello? I can't imagine.
Cello
you're a string master, right?
Yeah. So cello is basically what I started on, but this is so cheating. It's not funny. It has fret markers, so it's like I don't even have to worry about it being in tune. It's just like just the thing. But
So fret markers are like what they have on an electric guitar, right? Or like guitars.
So literally it
for
has
those
like
who are uneducated like myself.
these things. So it won't have the frets, but it will have the markers.
Sick.
So that way you don't have to do it all visually or like by touch, right? It's
Yeah.
a bit of instruction.
Because, I have so much free time that what I needed to do was to pick up recording a full metal album. It's what I do, obviously.
Well, I mean, you can just spend more time in the studio, amp that up to 17, 18 hours a day.
Bam.
Sick.
That's my life.
Yeah, that was a good 24 hours.
So where are we going to start, boys? There's no intention for today, but I reckon we can throw a few topics.
Oh, there's
into the
definitely some
mix.
topics in there. One of the ones I suggested to Jaron earlier was like the pattern of evolution. Like you see free runners who kind of mimic another free runner until they evolve into their own form. Like the easy lineage would be to see like Oleg Voslav, the
Pasha.
original Pasha, and then someone like Archie, who was like, and then went off in his own envelope. And also modernized free running, because you're like me, you look at the sport, like there's some of the runs that come out for the Tempest comp just now. I'm like, what is this sport? It's so
Yeah, well, I had a whole conversation with Anna a couple of weeks ago, actually, just over Instagram about that. I was like, I reached out to him and I was just like, man, like the sport is barely recognizable from the sport that I started. And I mean that in the best way. That's not like, oh my God, I'm getting
what does it become?
Yeah, no, I'm just like, if you would take a video or a picture snapshot of like parkour in 2006 when I started, or a jam, and then you played that next to what a jam looks like in this day and age, it would look like two different sports. And so for someone like me and yourself, Dom, who's been around for, over a decade now, it can be very easy to get stuck in that old way of training because we always lean towards the things that we're comfortable with. So it's very easy for me to go out and just like continue to do some power moves, like big precisions, big strides, all that type of movement, very forward moving movement, which was the traditional way of parkour, and not do the more flowy stuff. And it's not because I don't want to, it's just because that's where I'm comfortable. And
it's
so
habitual.
It is habitual.
You have that kind of rhythm of what you do when you get out to a session. And it's hard to form new habits and break old ones during training and think a different way. I think that's one of the reasons I still stay so online and so like not up to date, but like in touch as I can with the videos that are coming out, the type of movements coming out, and do try to just play with that, especially during the start of my day. I try to play with a different style before I get into that classic Dom heavy hitter realm where I'm really comfortable.
Well, it's even harder when you put the pressure of creating content on yourself as well, because, and this is something that I really like with what you've done and why it's so awesome, the type of content you have created for yourself, is because you don't have this pressure to outperform yourself, right? You have established that you put anything out there. And we had this conversation while we were away where I take stuff down on Instagram sometimes when, you know, if I make a mistake, and you're like, bro, if you put this online, keep it online. And you gave me like almost a lecture about it. It's like, once it's posted, it's out there, leave it. And I was like, fuck. And so I love what you've done where you are happy to put anything out there. But someone like myself, or at least the narrative that I've created for myself, is that like, I want to put out a certain level of content. And so if I'm trying to learn something new and I don't feel like I'm as good at it, then not only am I not going to train it, I'm not going to post it either. So it's very easy to get stuck and not do that. So I messaged Jarran a few weeks ago and was just like, man, I'm going to lean fully into this. And just one session out doing some flips with some flares on, I was like, fuck, man, like this is, I straight away was getting some of that stuff. But yeah, man, we definitely have to lean into the places that we're uncomfortable, I believe. And this, if we want to stay relevant, and someone called me out on it, was like, oh, it's not about, having to stay relevant. It's not about that. It's just, I want to play. I want to be able to play in the new style. I love it. I love the stuff that, people like Archie are putting out in the evolution of the sport. It's at such a sick place. And I want to be able to do that as well.
Personally, if we were talking on the sense of relevance, it was like, to be relevant or whatever, I wouldn't be able to do that stuff to stay relevant. I've still got to do what I would do to be relevant. But staying relevant is such a weird like conundrum. I don't know. I don't really think about it too much. I don't think it really concerns like that thing. But one thing you did say that really stands out to me, and I think this can echo through all of us, is a word I've been vibing at the moment, which is narrative. I like the word narrative.
Yeah.
It can be used really well as opposed to just, especially with what we do, there's way more to it than just a jump or just the clip. You know what I mean? So trying to keep people on that narrative, and be it through day-by-day posting or a bigger video project or something like that, I think is a really important thing. And I think that's how you keep people entertained as well, because you can't keep people hype all the time. But if you have a narrative and a story that they can follow, then they're going to find it a lot more relatable.
Well, that's very much what you do, isn't it? Like, the point is, like, people are like, oh my God, Dom can't get injured. But you can, and you have, and you're the one person that can use that to your advantage and be like, oh, well, I guess now I'm just going to do some little jumps. Watch the video of me just doing some little jumts while I'm fucking injured. Man.
Yeah. I spent this whole month with a sprained right wrist, right? That like, it just means you got to, like, I haven't been able to do any wham kongs or like put my hands down roughly, but there's so much you can do with your legs. So, I mean, it's always just like, working around what you have and creating, like you said, that just doing little shit, to keep yourself entertained. And therefore that creates the story to others. Like, how does he deal with it when he's injured? Bam. You just give him that. Instead of just not giving them anything, you give them what you do. I think that's, a big one for you, Shawnee. It's just telling people what you do as opposed to making the best. And I think we see this with heaps of influencers because they always glorify and everything's so exciting and everything's like, wow. But I personally just disdain like the idea of being like a cliche influencer. Like, you know what I mean? That like, my life is awesome all the time. Woo, I hang out with other people and we make content and collaborate. Like,
Dom, the anti-influencer.
I always say under the influencer. That's my.
Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Even the content that I was working on last month, I established very early that, vulnerability was going to be a part of it, and story, and I definitely feel like there was a bunch of people that resonated with there was one day that I had a massive bout of procrastination or resistance, this force that I call resistance. And, you know, rather than letting it be the thing that day that stopped me from making content, I made the content about that. And it was the process of waking up that day, not wanting to fucking create anything. And then how the steps that I take, because this is something that happens to me quite often in my life. And I have a process that I go through when that happens. And I think it was one of the best pieces of content that I'd made during that whole challenge. So if I'd woken up that day and not made that content, then the best piece of content that I made in the challenge wouldn't have been made. You know, so I think this you know, as humans, we are attracted to stories, right? Like story, you know, every Hollywood film, you know, like look at the biggest industry, some of the biggest industries in the world are all the processes of story. And sometimes, I mean, this is why I love this pushback towards YouTube right now within the parkour community. I'm a big fan of Jimmy and everything that he's pushing for, and you've been walking the walk for quite some time, and every day you're seeing people. I see Hendo is back on YouTube and he's posting his own version of his own content. It's very mellow and slow content, but everyone's sort of carving out their own story, which is quite cool to see. And that's where I feel like this like a massive amounts of creativity from the creator standpoint is coming in. And I love that we have Instagram, which is very boom in your face, quick content, but then there's this other longer form place, which is YouTube, where we can create these stories and narratives that we want to show. And I think this is like shifting the culture, and this is where like a lot of culture is going to be built over the next year or two.
Yeah, definitely. It also conveys personality. Like you can't get that in YouTube. No, wait, you can't get that in Instagram.
Yeah,
you can get it. It's just a different. Yeah, it's a little bit different. There's not always the depth, I think.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. You can get it, but it's not as in depth. Like I definitely found, you know, even with posting, leaving head and tail in your clips sometimes, like people always are like, oh, it's not viral clipping, it's just like but it's like at the end of the day, why are you trying to post fucking viral clips? Viral is a sickness. No. But like if you're posting things, you want people to see who you are, not just what you did. So having you walking towards the camera and your reaction or people's reaction to it, and then how you react to that, is an important part of the Instagram posting that I think a lot of the younger people miss out on. It's like you need to, I also want to see who you are after or before the sick clip that you did. You know, maybe not all of them, but if you've got natural give out, don't worry if you look like so I used to cut my celebrations. I used to be really like weird about showing off my like celebrations. If I was like yes, or like oh, I'd like try and cut that, or like wouldn't show that as much. But then I was like, where the fuck, I'm proud of myself in the moment. It's what I do, you know. Or even if I did like a goofy thing as well, that would be the other thing too, something dorky. I'd be like, oh, cut that out because I don't want to seem a certain way. But then I just found leaving that stuff in does show character, and that's on such a short burst of platform, and you can see that difference between different people.
We were on lineages. So what's another version? So where would if you could track from David Bell OG original style, what came next? What's the lineage down there? Was it something like David's traditional style that spread out to influence through things like the BBC? So we had the early London scene, which was quite influential. So that would have sparked your obviously your urban free flows and down that train, early days there, and then that sparked your good tech London scene. Phil Doyle, Daniel Ilabaka, Danny took his own sort of tree where he started adding more acrobatics. Like what I reckon.
Well, I think it's interesting you say that is that you could look at it from personal like quests like that, or you could look at it country quests like that. So it's like if we had David Bell, we have to look at the people that trained around him, which would be like Stefan Vigro, Sebastian Foucan, what's Stefan's brother's name? David David
Stefan.
Stefan
No.
Vigro and
Julian.
Julian Vigro. Yeah, so just blanking. Julian runs the Bangkok gym that Anan goes to regularly.
And can't forget Kazuma. Kazuma is the name that's always forgotten there. And Kazuma,
yeah,
my man.
And so if you look at the specifics from them, you already start to grow this tree of like people who took, so they took their specific things from David Bell. I mean, no one was like David Bell. You know, the first person that I kind of saw that to me was like David Bell was actually Reece James. But that's because I wasn't as versed around the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But if you look at the style and the shit he was doing, it's like that was pretty parallel next gen.
Yeah. That Sydney, early Sydney scene had it on lock, man. That's why I was polarizing when I came in, because I was like this, trying to like add flips in as well, and they're like, man, come on, like this is French style parkour here, no flips.
Yeah, we're known for this shit. But yeah, so it's like, but then you could go country based, where it's like, we took raw in Australia, but then England took tech. You know what I mean? And if you look at the French now, they still took raw, and send is really the clear, like, to me, that's the clear one over there, is like grit and rawness and like hustle, as opposed to necessarily like technique like they do in London.
So you're suggesting that regionally it was more styles, or styles?
Yes, like look at Spain, they had four. Look at Russia, it was more free running. 100% regional style was.
What was Germany? Was that tech?
Yes.
Like, because they just train like the same move over and over again, no?
Yeah, if you look at Germany's evolved style now, like people like Andy Wall, and people from like Belgium and the closer regions like that, like Nico Van Hol, who else is a super technical beast from that area? All the Ashigari guys as well are on that like technical value level that is stupendous and well-rounded, like parkour technique. I feel like Jason's a bit of a wildflower from Germany, where he's like a bit more style and flow based, but he does have that foundation technique. It's just that he's just Jason, he's got that creative mind that's next level.
Oh yeah, people would be surprised at how good Jason's tech and like actual parkour really is as well, because he doesn't showcase it as much because he has such a huge repertoire. But like, if Jason needs to throw down like classic parkour moves, man, he can keep up with just about anyone.
Dude, there's been times where I've like used his confidence for like a running jump or a gap. So just watch him do it, I'm like, cool, I know I can jump as far as him, but I wasn't ready to do it without him doing it first. Like,
do you remember?
He'll do it. Do
you remember the first Farang tour, like for the city video that we were filming? And we were at the abandoned building in Bang Na, and it was the day that you did that massive front flip. It was like the first time all of us had seen in person. You just like chucking to cement something that none of us would have jumped off, and you were just like boom, and just took it and stood up, and we were like, that had to hurt. You're like, no, I'm good. And just like there's this like disbelief around the group. Like, I'd seen it before because of
same
and we did the same but different. I'd witnessed you do that before, but it was the first time I was around other people and we saw that. But that day Jason sent that, it was in the city video,
jump out to the side of the air. I'd never forget that, the running jump out to a little square on the side of the building. It's so
I watched him prep it one or two times, and I looked at it and was like, yeah, like I could do it, the distance is good. But Jason, like the amount of confidence he had, and just sent it, he leant off to the left side a little bit, but then just walks out. It's like, man, this guy knows what he's doing.
12 stories up on the right side, just for context for people. 12 stories up, you land on a square that is 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters or less on a sketchy Bangkok edge, and then he runs across a 10 centimeter platform after it.
Yeah, it was insanity. It was one of the coolest things I'd seen in person at that point in time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that tour was hella interesting because it was coming off the back of Team Farang Tour 2010.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dates all evade me.
Yeah, but the one where it was before it was official was just Team Farang Tour on your channel. And that got some steam going. And I remember like the next year you're excited for that, and you were like, hell, let's get, we've got big ideas, we've got big plans. And there was like the, you know, early foundations of what we're going to be for Rang forming. And then when we got there, it was like, yeah, we're going to shoot a documentary. Like the original plan for Team Farang was to shoot a documentary.
Well, let me just add, there's enough footage there to have a documentary. I think we had a terabyte of footage or 800 gig of footage out of that. There is so much from that first Farang tour that was unreleased, including the beach.
We should hire somebody. If somebody,
including the beach,
if somebody watches this and they would like to, you know, make the documentary and edit that footage, I would potentially, you know, we can talk about that. Hit me up, and I would love to see that footage be put together. You know, like
yeah, there's some controversial shit in there.
Fuck it.
Oh, who had the skills back then? Because like everyone now has like filmography skills. But back then, who was the one that was like? Was it Jason that had?
Shaun and Jason.
Yeah, Annan as well. We definitely took the lead when it came to the filming side of things. I think what had happened is it was in that DSLR, early DSLR days. Jason had bought a 5D Mark II or Mark I. So it pretty much was the camera we used for everything, and a 7D that Annan had as well. And we were just winging it, man. It was experimental. You know, we all had fundamental skills of like decent film and photography skills. Jason definitely had done the most work creatively, and it was just bouncing around ideas between each other and capturing as much as possible. And I think those videos, all of those early videos were made in the editing room rather than shooting. It was like, burst fire, capture as much as possible, and then create something afterwards, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there was some early interviews as well. Jason, Dom can remember this. We've talked about it a lot. Like the first ever interviews that we filmed for that Farang tour, we were like, hi, my name is
I remember
Shaun
saying things and watching everyone. I remember saying things behind the camera, and everyone would like behind the camera, the whole group, you just be like, oh,
yeah.
Definitely shouldn't have said that. Like, oh, that was bad. Like,
so it was like even just the film, like, hey, I'm Shaun and I'm from Sydney, Australia, would take 13 takes. It was a shambles, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those videos were made in the editing room with small intentions while we were shooting. As Dom said, like it was meant to be a documentary. It was meant to be like this long piece, and we made like 2 videos and didn't release the third. It did get finished though, just never released.
Have you guys watched it?
Pardon?
Have you guys watched The Beach?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's a thing, and you've seen it, and
it is definitely a thing.
I like it. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, we had this like ridiculous. It was the creator's curse. It was this ridiculous standard that we were setting at the start. Like it had to hit, which I worry. Sorry, Jimmy, I'm just going to say it. I am a bit worried Jimmy the Giant's stuck in this right now. He's been holding on to this video that he's talking about. And I reckon he's hit what we did with the beach with this video. So this is me holding you accountable, Jimmy. With the third video, which was the beach, it's a fantastic video. It's a fucking great video. But it just wasn't up to the standard of the first 2 videos. And so because they hit so hard and so good, we got scared that it would be our downfall. We thought by like the third video, people would be like, oh, this is shit. And they wouldn't want to watch us anymore.
Which seemed so ridiculous to me at the time. Because I was like, guys, we shot this fucking video and it's great. Why aren't you guys putting it out? And at the time I was back in Australia and I was partying all the time. So I wasn't really in contact, but I'm like waiting. What the fuck are these guys doing? I know we shot this video because I'm fucking in it. I seen it.
Yeah. So we were worried about it not hitting, and so we never released it, and it sits in the archives waiting for the day that someone accidentally releases it online.
Oh man, I want to. Yeah, I've been recently trying to take more affirmative action with the team and dig out some of those things, and I think there's a lot of value in the history of the team, and that also shows and creates the culture that we've been trying to form with Farang. So I'd love to try and find stuff like that and put it out for people to see. And You know, like we watched a video the other day and you were like, it was like a 2014 video. This video would bang if it came out right now.
Well, the thing, some of Jason's work when he was filming with Flow Channel and some of that was just incredible. Some of those, like when they went to Hong Kong and stuff, like that stuff would bang hard if it came out right now. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about Tim in a sec. That would be sick.
Oh, yes.
But my point was going to be that we watched a playlist while we were in Byron of some of the old Farang stuff, and it's just so rich, man. Like the content is just so rich. And like I was, as a fan, you know, I'm a fan of Farang, and you were playing a playlist that started with some of our old stuff and then moved through to like newer stuff, and then Zen joining the team and like Zen's Rooftop Bangkok video, and like it was on the big TV in HD, and I was like, this stuff is so fucking cool, man. Like, yeah, I mean, there's the history's good, current team's sick. It's like, yeah, man, I'd love to see heaps more.
Yeah, we're working on something. I've been talking to the team a lot. We're working on something. Hopefully, bring you over the next few weeks. So.
Sick.
All right, can I stick a pin in this? And can we move locations, stay in the same time-ish zone, but like move continents? And what was happening in America? Yeah, at that point in time.
Ooh, Tempest were definitely on the hustle. Like in those early days of Farang, Tempest were really like, they were already established at that point. They had released the first Tempest gym. So the first downtown gym.
Yeah. That video went off. Remember they made that like one shot pro takeover of the gym. Yeah. That was killer.
Yeah. So, and what Tempest, I think what was really cool with the synergy between Farang and Tempest in those early days is there was a lot of bouncing between, like, this was pre like Jesse LeFlair and Corey DeMeyers. They were coming into the scene around that time, and Josh Yaden as well was so originally it was Josh Yaden and Corey DeMeyers went on this, you know, they came into Tempest, but this was pre that. But Tempest always wanted to be, from my opinion, always wanted to do the pro route. You know, they wanted a pro team, they wanted the gyms, and I feel like us and Storm and who else was popping at that time? Storm. If there's anyone else, GUP. Like it was almost giving like Tempest like permission to like double down, and so like Tempest would, in my opinion, like really dominating the American scene at that time. There's probably heaps of America that I was leaving out, but on my radar and from, you know, the Farang sort of radar, like we were vibing with what Tempest was doing, and then they really like doubled down, created that pro team, and then brought us over. They ran these they ran this thing called the Pro Takeover, where they flew in something like, I want to say like 30 athletes from around the world, or like 20 plus athletes from around the world, and they did it 2 years. They flew us out.
I was always so disappointed I didn't get to make that, man. It looked incredible.
Yeah, man.
Was that the plane Tempest, graveyard like, thing?
Yeah.
Right. That was cool.
They laid down their own cash, man. Like Tempest literally, like it was out of some of their pockets, you know, because they were doing like the stunt work. Some of them guys were making bank, but like out of their own pockets flew out all these guys, because they really, and their whole vision was that they wanted to see pro athletes in the scene, you know, and they've done it, you know, like actually something Dom and I had talked about a little bit is about shifting the culture, right? Ways to shift the culture. And in my opinion, if you want to shift the culture in something, you need to take action. Like so many people have ideas. I've done this heaps in my life as well, where I can be, Dom and I talked about this, we can be super critical of people, you know, when they do something first. Like Jason's done things many times over the years where I was like, oh, I thought of that. But Jason like shifts the culture because like he takes action, and Tempest like shifted the culture at that time because they took action. Sorry, Tempest. And then you know, Jimmy the Giant right now is like shifting the culture because he's like taking action, you know. So it's so cool. Like Tempest had this vision of seeing like pro athletes within the sport of parkour, and now like 8 years on, there's pro athletes, you know, like 9 years on, there's people that are making pros. So I love this concept of like shifting the culture.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh no, you're up, Jaron. I was waiting for you to talk.
Oh, good. We were going to talk about Tim, which I'm guessing is we're talking about Mr. Sheaf, no?
Yes, Tim Livewire Sheaf. So for those younger freerunners who don't know, Tim Livewire Sheaf was one of the most prominent freerunners out of England in 2009. There's been no other like Tim since in many ways. At the time, though, he would down 12 hot dogs from White Castle and do the most insane handstand stuff you've ever seen. Like, that was his, like, you know, he had videos of him online, be like, and then doing, like, jumping on his hands like they were legs. It was some of the most incredible athleticism I've seen in its own bracket that no one's really, like, repeated to the same level, in my opinion. Shaun, what was the next step in his journey?
Yeah. Oh, well, Tim was one of the founding members of Storm. So he was, at the time when he was downing 12 burgers from White Castle, he was part of he was a fundamental member of Urban Free Flow at the time. And at the London Barclaycard World Championships 2009, after he won the competition, he basically walked up to EZ, who was running the competition, gave him a middle finger and said, I'm quitting, the whole team's quitting Urban Free Flow. This is basically the end of Urban Free Flow. We're starting Storm. And they announced Storm on that day. Storm went on to release Storm Volume 1, one of the most banging videos of all time.
Yeah.
And then Tim went into veganism, from White Castle to veganism, became the vegan prince.
Vegan prince.
Yeah. And, you know, went down that whole avenue, which was really cool for him. It lasted probably 5 or 6 years. He was actually visited me in Bangkok around the time he did it, and I almost went vegan because of him at the time.
Be a sheep, be a wolf.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I stayed a wolf. I kept eating meat, but I almost got turned. And then he left veganism. He's back he's a wolf again.
Okay, now hold on. I'm gonna tell that part then, if you're gonna be nice about it. So basically, he was being a vegan, and he was, living the vegan life, and then he started doing like endurance running, and then he started fasting, and then he was drinking his own urine at a certain time, and calling fasting and drinking his own urine veganism, when really it was getting off that track. And then look, this is just why I know this is my things on it. But yeah, then he went to a farmer's market, saw some chickens running around, was like, oh, they look pretty free, so I'll just eat their eggs. And then he ate their eggs and he felt better, because, you would if you weren't eating properly.
Okay, so look, I love Tim. I've known Tim for a very 15 years, and I feel like what he's been on is a journey of trying to heal himself from whatever it is he has. He's a polarizing figure. He does crazy stuff. He doesn't do anything half-hearted. But this has always been the way Tim is. And I personally think he's an extremely well thought out, intelligent guy. And I think he knows what he's doing a lot of the time. And I think he also knows how to sell himself very well, because this brings us to the current topic of Tim right now, walking down the middle of London with a face mask around his penis.
And that's it.
So
wait, that's a thing?
Yeah, so you can go online now. Jaron, are you able to bring images up on this thing?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, so if you go to Human Timothy's Instagram. But it's funny, because just a week ago we were talking about him, as we often do, and Shaun was telling me about his stick bow movement, where he's kind of become the guru of this semi-new
all right,
there it is.
Form.
You guys won't be able to see it, but it is there. Audience can see it. Watch out.
He's looking good, isn't he?
Yeah, we're getting right in there.
Photo.
We are getting right in there.
It's extremely controversial. He's hit a topic right on the knob, pun intended. It's gone super viral. It's like, you know, he's obviously got some sort of statement. He's obviously anti face mask with the whole COVID situation, which is super, you know, it seems like a position Tim would take. So that's okay. But, you know, it's worked for him. But he is working on this way of the rope top move.
Oh, the way of the rope. That's the one.
Way of the rope. And he's become almost like a co-founder of this whole movement where they're like swinging ropes. And I think
Jaron, you'd be into it.
No, Marx was into that, remember? And he put a knife on the end of it and it was like doing the ropes into things.
He just wanted to be like ninja though. He wasn't like, hey, this is an exercise form.
Oh, this is like exercise way of the rope. Yes. So what, like Tai Chi with a rope almost?
That's what I call
pretty
it.
much. Yeah. I think there's some method to his madness. Like some of it does resonate with me, but it seems to be working for him. He's selling heaps of ropes and he's
so he's selling the ropes as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing.
It seems to be working for him. He's selling heaps of ropes. Like, yeah, that's a good sentence.
Yeah, but power to him, man. Like, it's cool stuff. Like, he's always been a contrarian. He's always been a free thinker. And he's living his best life, man. And what a journey. Like, I want someone to make a documentary about him one day.
Oh man, he would be a fucking ultimate documentary person.
Shout outs to Tim.
Shout outs
All
to
right,
Tim.
what else we got?
Well, now we're gonna take some questions from the audience. Hello from Spain. Yo, damn, 14 people are watching.
How many do you think? Yeah, don't.
What do you think about parkour mixed with streaming? I think it's really hard to do well. Parkour mixed with streaming, like you see it at the Redbull Art of Motion, what is it? Parkour PK Origins for NAPC. They do it really well. They have a very controlled setup.
So
right?
something I've thought about with this when it comes to parkour and streaming would be, imagine a scenario, and this is an idea that's been shared by a friend of mine who I want to give a shout out to because he definitely came to me with the idea as well. And he works for Red Bull Media House or Red Bull live streaming, and it's I'll say it out loud because Dom, this might be something you can make happen. And I think a format that could work is bringing 2 or 3 parkour teams together to like a Tempest type gym. So imagine Farang, Storo, and Tempest, right?
Yeah.
And then essentially creating a skills competition type thing, but with audience interaction. So audience actually get to set tricks. So there would be a back and forth dialogue, you know. So
okay, so
like
I get what you mean. It's not so much like we have a skills competition, you're tuning in. It's like, hey, tune in. You can challenge the athletes to do these things. You know, they can have mini competitions that we run within that group. So that's a really cool idea. Yeah,
like kind of like we're taking questions right now, but you know, it's like Pasha's turn to set, and the audience calls, you know, by a voting system what the trick that Pasha sets is. And then like Storm or Storo or Tempest pick and they have to like do the trick as well.
Yeah, I like that. For me, I feel like you could also do like a live stream of a jam with a couple of cameras and get those moments, but it's hard because you have to have dedicated cameramen and filmers. Then you have to just, and you don't want to get dedicated cameramen that aren't parkour athletes because they're not going to know how to shoot it and know how to get it.
They'll miss the good stuff.
Yeah, and you don't want to get people who are athletes because they're going to want to train in these jams. So you got to find like Giles. He's the only man who can film live streams.
Yeah,
even he likes to train, you know.
Yeah. I think what was that jam that happened out in like Copenhagen? No. You went to it. The jam that happened in Amsterdam. That was like a parkour competition outside.
Oh, the Rebel 100 Hours project.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was like they actually did these like street jams.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that is, but Mark Van Sweden is actually. You should talk to him about that because he runs all that sort of stuff, and he's the guy. He knows what's up.
Because there's like this mad vibe of like outdoor parkour jams, parkour competitions, and I feel like they could be mad to live stream.
Yeah, for sure. That would be a good part. All right, what did it say here? Oh yeah, what about a video playing guitar and doing parkour? Doing a video parkour playing guitar.
Well, Dom can't play
Jarran,
guitar.
Do you reckon you could like play your own little soundtrack like while doing strides? Or like, like precisions or something?
I'd fuck up pretty good, but that would be
Which
half
part?
the video.
Yeah, you should make that.
I'd fuck up the music because obviously with parkour, your like unconscious mind is like, yeah, don't get injured. That's kind of what humans do.
Yeah. You have to set yourself really easy challenges and then really basic chord structures.
Oh yeah,
I could do it.
I could do that. Or even better, you just have like a sick chord like loaded and then you just take off and when you land you're like brown.
Hectic. That's already sick.
That would be sick.
Smash that shit out.
So Jaron, you have 7 days. You got to come back to me with a video of you doing parkour playing guitar.
Oh great. This is gonna be
Challenge.
fun.
Yeah, and then you can put it as a link next week on the show. You can premiere it to the world.
Boom.
Boom. All right, David Allard. I hope that, and also you can drink a Red Bull while you do it. Apparently, that's another because he said Red Bull. Oh, this guy's been bear active.
Oh yeah. Do you know him? Because he really wanted to ask, like, do you know me? If we're talking about Tushar Kapoor.
I'm talking about David Allard.
Yeah. He's really been talking, but he didn't ask any questions. He was being an active member of the.
He asked one question. That was the last question. But yeah, I don't know him by name. Maybe know him by photo. In the Weekly World of Parkour, Tempest's online competition is popping the fuck off. Fizz online competition also went up.
I saw Ed's. Did you see Ed Scott's fucking line?
What, the Fizz one? That's like 20
the
minutes
Fizz
long?
one?
Yeah.
What he just kept going, man. It could have stopped 3 times.
Yeah, and it would have been perfect as well, but it still was perfect. But
and then he just stomps the double cork at the end. He's just like, rah!
I knew that double cork was coming just because I know Ed and his training, and I could see it as he got up onto that wall. Mate, he's going to stomp double cork to finish this.
How many times do you think he did that line?
I don't even know. I don't want to know. That's some crazy shit. But one thing I've noticed, except for Ed and Christian's, I felt like everybody else's, and Yassin Hamadi's line, those 3 lines, other than those, I feel like everybody slightly extended their length, but then they lost something. Like there was a few missteps here and there, and there was a few like extra beats that normally people wouldn't have taken that I saw in a lot of the Fizz lines that I was like, because they needed that extra length, they couldn't keep that consistent flow and stamina as well.
I haven't seen many of the lines for that. Who ended up winning the Project Parkour?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
I don't know.
Fuck, that dropped off the radar, didn't it?
Yeah, that let me. I didn't even have breath. I mean, I remembered it, but I'm gonna have a look now. Oh, that's not that. Fight or flight. There's 12 rules of parkour. Finals voting open.
No, you're the last. You're the last thing on this.
Yeah, so the final voting was 1 week ago, but then there's been no announcement about the winner.
Oh shit!
Why has there been no announcement about?
Dom, you could win. Dom, you could win.
Well, that's so
the
weird.
Competition.
Yeah, fight or flight. Why haven't they announced a winner? Is it being announced at a future date or something? Oh, it's live for this week.
Oh, watch
so you
out.
get to vote for a week.
They're
I
being...
wasn't sure about the whole like online voting being 50% and like then
50%
going with
judges.
judges. Yeah, that sounds it's a bit interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the result is.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. That, yeah, seems.
All right, well, that's
it's
to
weird.
be.
It's weird that there's the voting for the last finals is going for as long as the competition itself did.
Yeah. Well, look at that though. This is how fast everything's moving. There's 2 more competitions just popped up.
Yeah, and it's like the competition. It's funny because it doesn't seem like the cash, like the one for the Tempest, is just as popular, but it's also got like $500 for the cash.
Yeah, 500. Yeah,
because I think
500.
people are just not so interested in like winning the money. It's about being a part of these things more than anything else and bringing that community together.
It is a sick medium. Like I'm loving these like online. Like that is like one of the coolest things that's been created in the last since COVID.
The COVID time. Yeah. That's one of the
like
best mediums to come out of COVID for sure. I feel like it's a really great way to keep the world connected and everything.
Yeah, bro.
In parkour.
I feel like I would love to see them like being a thing, because it's debatably a way to remain a competitive athlete and consistent. Imagine if there was 2 of them a month that like someone could potentially try and win that paid like $1,000, $2,000. It's like if you're top of the sport, you could be bringing in a couple of grand a month, just winning online competitions. It kind of reminds me of my old esports days when I used to want to be a Counter-Strike pro and you'd try and play in like the ESAU or whatever it was called. There was like these online comps. Man, it's online's, that's fucking sick.
Yeah. I mean, cool to see it all popping off, and I'm excited by what all the athletes are throwing down. Like, as we said earlier, I don't even know what this sport is anymore when I watch Rock. What? How did he? I love those. This one's a good one. Is 3-year-old Koval put up his Tempest or Fizz line, one of them, and it's like, yeah, there's no bangers in it, but I liked the flow or whatever, and I like watched it. I'm like, banger, flow, banger. He had like 6 bangers. There's no bangers in there because he didn't do like a full in, full out. So he's like, yeah, it was chill. I only did like 2 doubles. Shut up.
Yeah.
If I did 2 doubles in a line, I'd be gassed. I'd be like,
Yeah, for sure. I reckon you could chuck double side, double cork in a line.
Yeah, for sure. I just find the right places though. That's the only thing. These guys can do them everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Off like bars and stuff these days.
Yeah. Like how there's the rails that have like the middle and the top bar, and they're like, oh, just do it off the middle rail. You're like, bro, what? One of the ones I saw here was, what do you think about Toby Segar and his rock climbing?
Ooh, he's rock climbing.
Can someone explain that to me? Like,
Toby Segar does rock climbing,
but like, does he do it in like urbex, or is there context here? I need some.
He's
context.
a good climber.
Yeah, he just trains it, and you can see when he does parkour, he applies it in his parkour training. Like he does incredible like clamp grip challenges and like awkward grip grabs and stuff like that.
Well, firstly, like Toby is someone who just like not the most like. Well, he's been super active recently, but rewind like a year or 2 ago, he wouldn't put out that much. I think he was injured for quite a while when like Story was proper popping off. But when he put stuff out, man, like you just get reminded that he exists, and you're just like, wow, like you are like his double kongs are like second to none. His Kong precisions, like just like he's someone that's like keeping the old school style alive and just pushing it. Yeah. Like he's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, also, I think it lended a hand to his Ninja Warrior win was the rock climbing stuff. With Ninja Warrior, as opposed to the Ultimate Tag that's coming up, you need to have a lot more climbing and grip strength to get out of these situations that are being thrown at you. So having that, just like he's light body, and if you got good grip strength and a light body, it's really, really advantageous for those courses.
He kind of throws out the body type situation though as well, where he's kind of like round shouldered and like very light and like doesn't always look like he should be able to do the stuff that he could. But then his technique is second to none. Like he's just absolutely mastered the Kong technique to like mastery level, you know. And so you almost say maybe he has got the exact body type you need for that, you know. So it's like, this is where parkour is so funny. It's just like you can't make any assumptions about anyone, about body types or different sizes or heights or what the perfect body type is, because you get people come along sometimes that are just like super incredible at something. You're like, wow, where did that come from? You know,
I'm making George McGowan's the body type you want to be. George McGowan.
Yeah.
Power to weight ratio. All right, last question we're going to take from everyone is, have you guys ever played any parkour video games?
There's that parkour. There's that. I mean, Mirror's Edge was kind of a parkour game, and then there was an urban free flow game, wasn't there? And
I played the free running game. That was like one of the only video games I played was free running video game.
Yeah, that was
backflip. Gamer.
You know what? Before I even tried parkour, I must have been like 10 or something. Prince of Persia, like the fucking first one. I was like, "What is this? You can jump off walls?" And it's like,
and that's where a lot of people got that from. That like original burst of parkour came from that fad, that game, like seeing that it was like seeing is believing.
There's that parkour game that's being developed right now, right? You know a bit more about that, don't you, Dom?
Not as much as I should. I know it's being developed by Henry Blue, and I know what's the Instagram account that you need to look up.
Like literally now?
Yeah, there's a parkour video game being created right now by...
Should I type in parkour video game? I'm still got Tim Sheaf up here.
Here it is. Parkour game clips, that's right. So one of the boys from New York or around New York area, Henry Blue, has been developing a parkour game for a long time. He went to university, got a gaming, whatever thing.
Right. As usual, you guys can't see it, but...
Parkour game clips. It's actually awesome. He's come so far since he first showed me the early things.
Yeah, the physics is not terrible.
It's coming along, and he's really like, I know he's so driven to make this kind of like the most authentic and like he wants to make like a Tony Hawk level, like Tony Hawk Pro level.
Dom, they must have modeled your front flip on this. No, this is actually legit. They're doing like descents and things. Yeah, that's
he's using the models, like the character models from like real, like I saw Hendo post something a couple of months back where it was like it was literally him, so he's modeling it off real athletes, which is pretty cool. You can like see the movement and stuff. And then there's these like in talks of games, there's also a card game by these guys, Ukimi Project. That's pretty cool. There's like a drinking card game that you can play. So yeah, man, there's heaps of different versions of stuff around these days. It'd be sick.
Yeah, there's heads up as well.
If like EA
Jason
released like
a heads up parkour.
Imagine having a character, you know.
Oh, bro, yeah, it'd be so sick to have
I'd definitely play Jesse LeFlair. That would be my favorite character.
Just grab all of your flips.
You can grind so shit.
Lunar Eclipse. No, I mean, Jesse would have like the most versatile character for sure.
Knee-ainer. Bro, I've never ever gotten over the fact that he did like a knee gainer off a rail. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's fucking sick. In comp.
So cool.
In comp.
Bro. In comp.
Jesse is a beast, man, and he has flames on his ankles. So fucking.
Wait, he legit has flames on his ankles.
Yeah, from his rollerblading days. He's a fucking beast, man.
Watch out.
He started parkour when he was like 28 or something. He was already like well into his like late 20s, and was a legitimate competitor at competitions for multiple years. He's a cool guy.
Oh, I think that kind of gives us everything we need for today. Is there anything anyone... Oh, so Shaun, you've got a podcast. Plug that.
Oh, yeah. All Good Shaun Wood All Good Podcast. You can find me on Spotify and iTunes.
We'll put the link in the description as per the usual.
Yeah, there's like 33 episodes out there that are pretty high value for anyone that's looking to start a parkour business or become a professional athlete.
Yeah,
and then
talking to some big names.
yeah, and then Jason, Dom's been on, and I do put some stuff on YouTube as well, so check that out.
At Shaun Wood. Jaron, any final notes for our people at home?
Apart from the fact that tomorrow morning, when we do our concept call, I'm getting your camera fixed. Because you've been going in and out of like focus this whole time.
Yeah,
it's been an hour of you just.
I've been fucking with my lighting too. Check it out. Boom.
Yo, Jarran, fucking beats that you've been making for Dom are sick. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you. Should make some more.
Yeah, I'm excited for this week to show you guys. I'm gonna put my monthly compilation together to this sick beat that Jarran made. Like Jarran, the one that he made this month is like my favorite track that he's made so far.
And I've hated
really
it
excited to show
the
you
whole
guys
way through.
You need to get them online somewhere, bro.
Yeah, you got to put them out.
Even SoundCloud, man.
There's people on my YouTube that are like asking for it.
The people are asking for that shit.
Yeah, sift through like 50 or more. Get it out there.
Get it out there.
And make some more.
All
the
right,
good
well,
things.
thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
Wait. There's someone that's like, can I ask a question? You guys, your number one tips on climb ups. Go.
Do a lot of them.
I have a little bit more practical advice. Pull-ups obviously are very important, but chuck a little weight vest on your waist, do progressive overload over time. So if you're not able to do a pull-up, start with 1, go to 5. Once you get 10 pull-ups, chuck 2 kilos around your waist, 5 kilos, progressive overload. 3 months, you'll have a super fast climb up. So progressive overload over time, weights, lots of reps, like Dom said. This will get you a good climb up, and practice dips as well.
Sick. All right. Thank you, guys. Catch you on the flip side.
Thank you for having me, boys.
Of course, Shawnee. Thank you for coming on.
Ciao.